Welcome to Immediate Review, where we see a movie in theaters and review it immediately. We just saw The Invisible Man.
Yeah, the feel-good comedy of the year.
According to one theater patron with us, the most obnoxious theater patron of the year award goes to a baby boomer in hat, 2 aisles in front of us.
Yeah, okay, person A is with us, and we just gotta say, we're just cracking up. There was some guy in the theater who, like, anytime the protagonist was in danger or, like, being one-upped by how you said her sociopath antagonist, he would laugh maniacally.
It was fucking creepy. Like, really, he was with a woman, too, and it was just like she's gotta be, like, terrified he's gonna kill her
like,
later.
It would be like, trying to not give spoilers, but it would be like, he drugged me. It'd be like, he's coming after you and he's gonna kill me.
Keep the baby or you're gonna be a murderer forever.
Like, or like it'd be even something simple like footprints, and she's like trapped, like to signify that she's trapped, and you can see the killer's footprints all of a sudden, and then he laughs.
And the knife's floating.
Yeah, he grabs the
anyways,
knife.
This guy was fucking obnoxious as fuck.
Just like
this.
Okay.
Anyways.
Back to it. No spoilers. General thoughts at first.
All right. So I think I'll go first. So I don't exactly know. I'll have you preface. Is this a remake?
Okay, well, I'll go first because I'm going to get that out of the way.
Okay,
I don't consider this a remake. I'm sorry. I've seen a bunch of people online been like, I loved it, by the way. I'm so glad it wasn't overhyped. It totally lived up to the hype. I'm so glad people have been calling this a remake, and I don't think it is one. The only thing it has in common with the other is the fact that there's an invisible man in it. It's so unique and original that it's like Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards. It's like there's soldiers and Nazis, but it has nothing in common with the original, and no one counts that as a remake. It's just, I don't know. This to me is like a direct inspiration with the same title. I just don't consider it a remake. It is too original for that. The only thing it has in common with the original, there's like 2 little references. Like, she sees a person with a bandaged face that kind of looks like the original. Yeah. And when she first sees him over the bed, I guess, like, spoiler maybe? I don't know. But
it's in the trailer, man. It's in the trailer.
Okay, the outfit. I guess the trailer was really spoiler.
It really is.
The outfit, the silhouette she sees looks like Claude Rains, kind of. That was clever. Those are the only 2 I caught. Person A, did you catch any more? What'd you think?
Yeah, I think it's just more like inspired by the concept of the Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Less like.
I guess it's somewhat similarly to Fantasy Island, but done so much better.
This
is so much better than Fantasy Island.
Way better.
Don't use that movie as like a preface for what you think this movie's going to be like, because
not at all.
I honestly had very, very low expectations coming into this.
Because Blumhouse.
Because Blumhouse, literally. Like, I'm sorry, Blumhouse, but like, you know, some of your movies are shit. You know, you take a bunch of darts, like a fistful of darts, and throw them all at the target.
Wait,
one's gonna hit, but like,
let's get back on track.
This one fucking hit.
Person A, take it.
Okay, so like, I'm still like needing to like chill out after that, because like my stress hormones were going like the entire fucking time. Like, unlike Mr. Laughter Guy, from the moment it starts to like the very end, like I like was on the edge of my seat, super fucking tense, like in suspense, like the whole time. This movie does suspense really, really well. And just Elizabeth Moss kills it. But yeah, I felt like dread and suspense and terror the whole time. And God, there's just some really cool camera work that lends itself to that, where you're like, is this a POV shot? Is it not a POV shot? It's not totally clear yet. It just, yeah, the tension was pretty much only cut by annoying laughter guy.
Yeah, we're seeing this again. We
need a better theater audience to see this with, because I was just like, I didn't know where it was going. Every time I thought it was going to go somewhere, it didn't go where I thought it was going to go. It was really good. And it also, like, it did a really good job handling subjects that movies usually don't do a good job handling, like PTSD and mental illness stuff. And, yeah. For sure.
Loved it, yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It did and even like the stuff with the domestic violence, like, it didn't feel the need to show him, like, the abuse in the relationship. It just prior to
the intro scene captures it perfectly well.
Leaving, her leaving and all of that tension that you feel of her leaving, and like just how important it is for her to get out, and then him like.
Wait, should we just dive into spoilers? Or anything?
I guess
I haven't said my general stuff yet.
But it's all there, and she briefly describes it, and they don't need to do it, and so nothing feels exploitative. Like, it's masterful, which is big fucking praise for a Blumhouse movie.
All right, so the first 20 minutes of this movie, I was like fucking all in. Like, hell yeah, this is fucking awesome. Once the I guess Invisible Man portion starts, and I think you guys may agree with this. I feel like the audience kind of reflected it a little bit, but there was kind of a lull where it has this tension and whatnot, but there's kind of a you have to kind of like disbelieve some stuff in order to
suspension of disbelief for sure.
Yeah, so
I think that's the only flaw in the movie.
Until they reveal how he's invisible. We'll get into the spoilers later, but there was kind of a little bit where it felt a little Paranormal Activity to me. Just kind of they're using the same stuff, but they had amazing cinematography to go along with it. I have a feeling they had to do it with like motorized robotic arms to do some of the shots, because the invisible like person, essentially,
they have these rigs that they strap to actors that will follow them like as they move around and stuff.
Okay, because the way that they set everything up for like the Invisible Man like fighting them and whatnot, because there are some invisible fight scenes that happen. Were honestly done pretty well. Like I said, it did feel a little Paranormal Activity-y, but the cinematography, because all of Paranormal Activity is like security cameras, and so it's like it's hard to compare the two, because this is done with like moving cameras.
What
and
you're
things
talking
like that.
about is like, doors opening and stuff.
Well,
and
no,
and closing and like shots of nothingness and stuff.
And the later Paranormal Activities, there is a lot of like foot drag by invisible person or something along those lines. They do that a lot. That's like
that's true,
signature.
but see, this to me, it didn't feel like that. It felt like it was doing those things well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But it was still like that. That's I'm not saying that it was doing it bad. I'm just saying that it's taking that style of like,
which is honestly
horror.
More impressive when you can take something that's played out, like jump scares. This movie does
jump
scares really well.
Somebody literally like shrieked, like,
oh my god, that was amazing!
So loud, and then apologized.
Yeah,
she was like, ah! Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry.
and that I think
so
honestly
scared.
kind of reflects back on the first 20 minutes. Like the first 20 minutes
The
when he's
ratchets
still
up
there
so
and like a
high.
physical threat that isn't invisible. It's like it's way easier for the audience to connect with a threat like that, And then when it's invisible, there's this thing of like, is it
But
actually happening?
Is it
I'll get
spoiler time?
into
Can
like
we just
why
in detail
it was
talk about
more
the beginning?
for me
Yeah.
later.
So the beginning, it's so fucking brilliant because it shows the abuse she's suffered by the environment. Like, she's really rich. They're walled off. She has to be extra fucking careful. Like,
there's cameras
the
everywhere.
security codes, just like, and how she takes her time. Like, any other movie could just be like, honey, okay, and then it just cuts to her walking down the stairs, cuts to her walking down the grass, okay, bye, she left. But like, just the slow buildup of it and just showing everything she has to do and how difficult it is. It stresses the importance of her needing to get out. and shows us the abuse without showing or telling us anything. Like this movie, the camera tells like 50% of the story, and I absolutely loved that so much.
Yeah, and speaking of that, real quick, the way that I bought into the invisibility is because there's a scene when she's getting on her way out, where she has to go to disable the cameras, and she's in his lab, and you see all of the technology, and there's like a lingering like shot on like a specific part of the lab, and the moment I saw that shot, I'm like, aha! That's the little invisibility section of the lab, I guarantee.
And that's in the trailer, too.
Yeah, and the moment they mention, like, that he's an optics guy, I'm like, oh.
Clever little
okay.
update.
And then I'm like, okay, so he obviously invented something or did something science-y, and so I immediately bought into his invisibility because of that. And also because I knew what the medication she was taking was. And then it wasn't like an antipsychotic or anything, it was just like an anti-anxiety medication, and so I was like, okay, so she's there's nothing to suggest that he's a hallucination or like despite all the massive trauma that he's like just like something that she's created.
Yeah, and it's like
it's purely it's very much that he is an invisible. Like, he's actually following her for sure.
Yeah, and those elements don't bug me. I mean, it's the Invisible Man. I mean, we just watched, Hollow Man. They're like, we're making the Invisible Serum. It's like, yeah, it's all hoo-ha nonsense, but it's like, you just go with it. It's like, especially, with horror movies in general. I mean, yeah, this movie does it so well. Those are really the only issues, is like nitpicks like, oh, the security guard could have just shot her on the lawn. There are a bunch of like teeny tiny things you could pull at, but it's the good far outweighs the bad.
Yeah.
Like, this is 99% a perfect movie. It's so goddamn good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's what
Yeah, the only thing that like I was like, plot convenience was the glitchiness of his suit at the end was kind of like convenient for the plot. But.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
But,
I'll go 95%.
It fucking works, so I didn't care so much. I was like, maybe he something science. Science.
Yeah,
he scienced
another
it.
nitpick. I would have liked a guy in a rubber suit and then they just CGI invisibility over it. The full CGI suit didn't look great a lot of the time.
It didn't, but it brought me back into the movie. Because it wasn't like the SpongeBob.
Oh, the concept of it was fine. It was so great. I accepted it. I'm just saying that's a nitpick. Like,
well, there's a lot of other ways they could have done, like, he's invisible, like the SpongeBob episode where they spray paint their entire bodies
a rubber suit,
or whatever.
A guy in a suit instead of a CGI. Like, it was 100% CGI every time he was in like the suit and stuff.
Yeah, and
that's what I mean. Yeah. You could shoot a guy doing all this stuff and then just invisible him out instead of just CGIing rendering a complete thing. I don't think they did motion capture because it looked too unnatural.
No, they would have had to, like, basically in order to do that, they would have to have every shot that had invisibility done with motion control, because you have to do a single take with nothing in it, and then a take with like your actors, and then you mask it out. But like that would jump the budget up a lot, and it would
do it. It's gonna make money. It would look better. It's in 20 years. That's not gonna look great.
I think
you're getting real nitpicky
I think the actor work for that would be way too intense.
It's a total nitpick. It's not a problem, but practical effects always hold up better. We just watched the Hollow Man, and the CGI effects in that, they do not hold up at all. And then we watched the 1933 Invisible Man, and we were blown away by the special effects, because it was like, how the fuck did they do that in the 30s?
Right.
And just, this is an amazing movie, but in 20 years we're going to watch it and we're going to be like, that looks bad.
Well, that's going to be everything with CGI, though.
Not everything. Not always.
Not always.
Not most things with CGI.
All right, let's get on with it, though. Those are my only issues, but yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I don't really think any of our viewers like give a shit about like the nature of like mental health and how like the structure of trauma like relates to decision making. It's a great topic.
Talk
but, like,
about it if you want. Go on it.
Seriously, it's
So-
such an integral part of this film.
Yeah, and it does a really, really good job of it. So in the very beginning, like
Most
like
movie
in our
stuff.
first 20 minutes, essentially, before we get the air breath scene where we're like, all right, he's fucking there for sure. There are
A
moments
laugh riot.
where our character is like doing things and whatnot, like she's experiencing paranoia, like she goes outside and she tries to get the mail and someone's running, she thinks at him, like that's something that's obvious. But then there are other things too where like the nature of like coincidences and something like happening that's like, oh, like that happening, that's just a coincidence, don't exist in the minds of people who are like dealing or in a very traumatic experience. And they did a really good job with one scene where she's like on her computer and she's like looking at stuff and it's like, are you being watched? How people can access your thing? And she like just kind of in a little paranoid thing. I guarantee plenty of people who aren't super paranoid do this, where they'll like put a piece of tape over their webcam or something like that. It's not a huge deal, but she does it with a piece of like a pen, and she starts inking it out, and then right when that happens, the door rings. And she's just like, and immediately is in this state of just like, I did something to gain control over my my personal like security, and now something is happening, and it instantly relates to her paranoia. Her paranoia fucking spikes, and that's like something I didn't expect to see in this movie is how
so well done.
like accurately trauma is portrayed in our actress, and like
through the sound design too.
Yeah.
It's so well.
And
Yeah,
even
that's why the
scenes
tension
where
is
she's
so
like
consistent.
walking through a room, like imagine being an actor and like trying to walk through a room and like trying to like
Portray hypervigilance,
and like where's the threat and whatnot. She does an amazing job. What's our actress's name? I can't
Elizabeth Moss.
Elizabeth Moss.
Yeah, she does a lot of the like that stuff, like she does in The Handmaid's Tale too.
Oh, that's where she's from. Okay, yeah.
So she's very practiced at like
Yeah,
beautifully portraying like the effects of trauma on like a wide scale. So
whoever was
really
in charge
good
of
at it.
casting, fucking A+. You killed it.
Good job, casting director.
And actress director, whoever was in charge of her actressing, you did good too.
Lee someone, I don't know his name, but we definitely deserve to say it.
Wheeler? Weberman? Wennell? Yeah, something like that. But yeah, hadn't heard of this director before, but was very
could be
impressed.
anywhere on the gender spectrum too.
Oh yeah.
No,
it's a guy. I've seen him on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Color
It's a
spectrum
more
was
neutral.
great.
It's a more neutral spelling of Lee. Like this is the first time I've seen anybody get like end up in a secure facility or anything, and it not just be like dark hallway, one security guard. I will say that the downfall is like she didn't have to badge to get out or in, which is a major flaw. You always have to badge to get out or in. She should have had to steal a badge to get out. But
that's what I mean by nitpick.
yeah, exactly, the nitpicky thing. But there were like a shit ton of security guards, and like the way her room was locked and everything was accurate, and it wasn't like evil, mean doctors, blah blah blah. And
it was like she murdered somebody.
Yeah, and like the stuff that she's saying, honestly, it sounds a lot of times like delusional content. But
oh,
in
they
this
did
case,
a great
real and they made a great job of making basically he gaslights her. And she's established before that this is this is practice, like this is stuff that he does all the time, and that's a common thing that abusers do, and it's so well done. Like the fact that she's like, I'm not going crazy, but it very much appears like she is having a full like blown breakdown, and at the same time there is some legitimacy to that because she has been deeply traumatized and she's being re-traumatized over and over again by him because he's stalking her and he's making it appear that she's doing these terrible things when she's not actually doing them, and he's making her doubt herself and what she knows is reality. And so it's really well done, and it's not like hokey, and it's not like, I don't know, most of the time when films do this, it's either like really exaggerated or it just doesn't portray symptoms accurately, tropes. Or like the kinds of things that would get somebody locked up aren't. It's not done like realistically, but this film did it realistically.
This movie took gaslighting to a fucking another
Like,
level.
I
It
was
literally
like-
gaslights at one point.
The gas, and you feel as the audience, sometimes you feel like what do I believe? Like you know, it like the film kind of gaslights
Oh,
the
I was
audience
ready
a
for a
little bit.
twist that like
Yeah.
none of this was happening. I was kind of
Yeah, you were
prepared
like, wait,
for that.
hold on, like sometimes, and then like there are some like other twists that happen, where you're like not sure who to trust. It's kind of like some of the paranoia that comes up with like Rosemary's Baby and stuff.
Yeah.
And like the fear, like I don't know. I just felt it like the whole time. Like
It's
I
the
could not
horror,
calm
fucking
down
loser.
or like trust any of the characters the whole time. I was just in a constant state of like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, like tension the whole time. Like I was hyper vigilant the whole time we were watching the movie, and the only time I had any like what the like break moments was when that stupid fucker would laugh. God damn it. So yeah, it was just like
Violence towards women is hilarious.
Yeah,
Dude,
seriously,
you just
that's
said out
what-
loud at one point, you were like, what part of drugging a fucking woman is funny?
Yeah, and that's the part where I turned to you and I was like, we have an actual sociopath in the
Yeah.
theater. This dude's an actual fucking narcissist. Jesus.
I'd like to say too, I really love the genre trope of protagonist is 100% correct and nobody believes them. It's one of my favorites.
It's the Cassandra complex thing.
It was done so phenomenally in this movie. One scene I really wanted to see is their reaction to the fact that she like poured coffee grounds and paint
And paint
everywhere.
and all-
We
she
never
fucking
saw the
destroyed their
family's
house.
reaction to that, and not like that would have just been just a little more icing on that crazy cake of just like, you know, she's like, I didn't hit your daughter, and he's like, okay, you need to leave, and then they come back and she
And
just
their house
thrashed
is-
their house.
Their house is destroyed. Their table's broken. A bunch of dishes are because she's been fighting this guy. Their
Yeah.
attic is open. It's
Oh,
just a
so
bunch
good.
of weird shit. And they're just like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
the paint scene was definitely excellent. Like I kind of knew that it was coming from the trailer, but like they gave away a lot of the stuff from the trailer.
Superb editing in
But
this
yeah,
movie.
the editing was excellent, and yeah, it did a really good job at one takes. You know, I know we just did 1917 and we talked shit on
We don't
one
talk about
takes,
that.
but like you had to see it again.
No.
But yeah, this one did one takes really well, and like housebound tracking shots. They did
Oh,
a really
the
good job with
tracking
their
shots.
locations. There were some location changes that happened that like made sense, but I don't think the movie needed it. Like when they go to the city or when she like drives back to San Francisco, they kind of use it as a means to do some helicopter shots and whatnot just to
Water.
establish stuff. But like,
those were definitely drones, I think.
really,
Oh yeah, definitely. They were just they were too, I don't know, they were too like perfectly stable. And I guess they weren't laggy though.
no, they weren't.
they didn't
I
have to
they
walk
they
around
looked
the
like
edges.
helicopter to me. I was like, man, those city shots look good. I was like, if they did that with a drone, like that's super fucking impressive, honestly.
Yeah, I thought the way there were some downward shots. I don't know.
I just don't know if like, I mean, can you fly drones at that like altitude?
I just
in
thought
city
about that,
limits? Like,
too.
I don't
No,
know. I
you're
don't know the
right.
regulations around it, but I've seen Casey Neistat do drone videos in the city, but not at like those elevations. But it's not important.
If they were, they had a good lens. Yeah, they
Yeah.
might have had an anamorphic lens on a drone.
Yeah,
and
they
just
totally
did it.
could have.
And just had a really good one. But I would like to say, what the fuck, Regal? God damn it, will you fucking buy new projectors? Like, this thing was laggy in a lot of scenes. Did you notice it at all?
Nope.
I noticed some like the CG had like a little glitchiness, especially when
Oh, dude,
he's taking out the security guards and he does like the scene where he walks over him. Like it was very.
I'm really
like,
surprised you
not
guys
like
didn't
a
notice it.
human
Like,
motion.
it was like every 2 minutes there would be just a tiny little glitch, or if it was the pan, it would just stutter real quick. Like the it just seemed like, because they haven't installed new projectors in almost 10 years.
Right.
And I don't think the like new DCP files, I think they're just getting to be too much. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't ruin the movie for me, but like I definitely was like, I want to see this in a different theater.
Yeah.
Um,
So our antagonist brother. What did you guys think about that whole kind of
Rich
story
asshole
extension?
dynamic.
Yeah, it's kind of
I saw it coming from that he was manipulating her that whole first conversation.
and I anticipated it as well. It's like
I didn't
he's
know it was gonna go as
obviously in
far.
on it. You know what I
Like
mean?
I thought he was in on it, but I didn't think it was gonna go as far as it did.
Yeah,
That's another thing this movie did well is they doubled down on the climax. And,
Yes.
that's sometimes one of my least favorite things movies do, and this one did it great.
Yeah, and I was honestly expecting some sort of like, I mean, I was kind of expecting the way the movie was going, kind of a Jackie Brown-esque like switch where like they get the upper hand and whatnot, and it does it and then it doesn't do it and then it does it, and then it's like you're kind of just in this state of just like what? Like the ending was like
That's
was
why the
really
tension
good
never
and
goes away.
yeah,
It's
and
very, very,
and
very
intriguing, yeah, and it's like you think it's gonna go one way, like what's she gonna use the suit for? Is it gonna be like how Watchmen ended, where it's like, oh, she reveals it and like, oh, he was actually invisible, and all the footage gets released, and it's like they use it for something, or like what all is gonna happen, and it's like she ends up using it to like enact her revenge like personally.
Love that.
Which is definitely like great for the but it's not very Christian.
Can you blame her after everything she's been through in this movie?
Yeah, and it's like I don't know. It made sense to me, and it worked, and I liked that. Like she gets the suit, like she can go and peep on all the toms she wants.
Oh my
after
god!
that,
I really hope Elizabeth Banks's Invisible Woman movie isn't a follow up to this. I just realized.
Yeah. No.
Wait, what?
Elizabeth Banks got announced she was doing a movie called The Invisible Woman.
Who is giving her money to do a movie after Charlie's Angels?
I think she got money before that came out.
I mean, she does have a lot of money.
But yeah, there aren't a lot of details on that. Oh, by the way, Lee Wennell is his name.
Yeah,
the director of the
that.
film, Lee Wennell. He wrote and directed it. Thank you for being part of the new wave of art house horror.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really art house, but it's fucking so well.
Yeah,
I guess in the modern horror genre, it might as well
I would
be.
say, man, I think it is, dude. I think the cinematography
Fantasy
elevated
Island.
this above the realm of modern horror. Like
Yeah.
it's in the upper echelon already
Yeah.
on first watch, and like
It's-
with a better audience, I bet this is gonna be like
this and Get Out, like.
Yeah, honestly, and there were a couple
Blumhouse
moments
movies.
where I was just like, oh shit, like this is like a Get Out moment right now, and like where she like I don't know had like when she grabs the sticky tack, and it was just like, ooh, it's like the lint in the fucking chair, hell yeah, and and then it's like she fucking shanks a motherfucker with a pen.
Dude,
It's badass.
I would say the most surprising moments for me was when he hit the little girl.
Yep.
I thought that was so well done because she like leans in to go hug her, and then it just cuts to her getting hit in the face.
And then she thinks that she hit her.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then when her friend got her throat slit.
Her
Yeah,
sister.
her sister.
Her
The
sister,
restaurant scene. Yeah,
her-
that was like the
Holy
best form
shit.
of gaslighting ever. It was
Yeah.
just like
And then
like
you see the knife like floating in the air,
Yep,
and then
yep.
he puts the knife in her hand, and she's just so shocked that she keeps holding on to the knife as
Yep.
everybody looks at her in horror.
well, it's like what else would it? It's like the knife was there. She's the only person there. It's like it's completely logical that she's gonna
To
get
assume
fucking
that, yeah,
blamed
she-
for that murder.
she
It's like who else could it have been? You know?
Yeah, nothing
It was
felt
the
like
way
plot
that-
convenience in this movie, honestly.
Sorry, what was that?
Nothing felt like plot convenience. It just all just flowed really well, and like I don't know.
Plot convenience. Okay, let me think about that for a second.
Like
Except for the glitchiness of the suit at the end not always being consistent. That was the only plot convenience.
fair point.
thing.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't count for me. I think because like tech can do that. It's like that sometimes shit with like my laptop when rendering shit like this. Sometimes it works perfect. Sometimes it fucking sucks, and there's no consistency.
Okay, so technology and science explains it. Cool.
And yeah, honestly, it worked. I love the fact that it was camera based. It was like cameras and
Optics.
visual. Yeah, it's like it completely makes sense because it's like the whole invisibility. It's like
in the originals it was injecting serum into them and it turned them invisible. This grounded it.
Yeah, it's like this.
That's part of that's why I knew the brother was gonna be it, because I was like, this movie is not established absolutely no like powerful serums or stuff like that. After they revealed the suit, that's when I was like, okay, this is based in
and they established
reality
that there are multiple suits too.
Yeah, exactly. And but at that point, I was like, there's
more. As soon as she found out it's brother, I'm like, there's more than one of them. Well, he said we'll too. He said we'll be seeing you around.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh. Fuck.
Yeah, it's like, why else would he offer the baby? Okay, that was one thing I wasn't totally sure on. So, when was she like raped? When was she like?
No, she wasn't raped. He switched her birth control pills. He knew, remember?
Okay.
He mentioned that to her. He's like, ha ha ha.
I was probably distracted by obnoxious fucking laughing.
He knew you were taking your birth control pills, so he switched it out with
That's when you leaned over and were just like, why the fuck is that guy laughing? Okay, I missed that part.
But there's also the bit about...
Yeah, the guy was laughing during that part, too. Oh, he switched her birth control pills?
Yeah, but...
So funny.
That's why I don't like it when people talk. It's just like, I am in the movie, and the moment somebody does something, that's what I hear.
You guys are missing something. There's the scene where her paperwork gets taken away and she passes out because she was on a bunch of
That's what I assumed.
and he had been dead for 2 weeks at that time. Like,
and she said it's been 1 week.
Well, yeah, at the time of like when she got the mail, it was like 2 weeks later, and then there'd been more time that passed and whatnot, and it happened like within a month.
And the doctor
said it could have happened that night that she got drugged.
That's what I assumed.
Because
he couldn't screw her while he's invisible though, because of the suit. Like, he couldn't.
Yeah, that's why he drugged her. He drugs her to the point where she passes the fuck out. It's like
she shares a bed with the little girl. She shares a bed with the little girl, so it'd be pretty freaking risky.
But this was when she was. I mean, I think it would be drugged, but that is a good point. But I honestly, we gotta watch it again.
I wouldn't put it past this guy.
Yeah,
fuck. I mean,
that's what I thought. It was like she got drugged, he raped her, and then paid the doctor to not tell her or something like that.
Like in the hospital.
Yeah. Because she was like, didn't the doctor who did the test tell you? And she was like, no. And another thing that points out how well they portrayed mental health
that would
people
be like instant
is like, she like was like there, and it was like, oh, like, she's a murderer essentially, but the nurse is talking to her like, didn't you like is there anyone in the room or anything in the room that's like causing you distress? She's like, no. And it's like, do you remember taking this? And is there anyone that you can call about this? Like, even though there was like a murder charge essentially on this woman's chest, the person was presenting her with the respect and compassion that someone who could be essentially right about their what's experiencing, or it's real to them, deserve at least some realm of compassion, even if they are a murderer.
Good point. But she's not.
Goddamn.
That guy was so fucking bad. When he beat Mr. Drunk Guy at 2001: A Space Odyssey. I think the first time you saw it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Every time Hal said something, he just howled with laughter. He howled with laughter.
Yeah, he just thought everything's like, it must be attributed to human error.
But
like, Jesus, man,
eventually that
person is going to die.
Whereas this guy kept it up the whole time.
Not only that, it's like we're watching the greatest fucking movie on 70mm.
I know, right?
I don't know.
Then the acid kicked in for him, and he was good.
No, yeah, he was just way too drunk. This guy was just like, I don't know.
This guy was combination of things.
Right,
he related way too much to the murderer.
What's
he glued his red
final
hat to
thoughts,
his skull.
And then let's talk about trailers.
Final thoughts.
Go see it.
Really go see The Invisible Man.
We're late on this, man.
You won't be able to see it, but because he's invisible.
You won't be able to see it because by the time this review comes out, it will be out of theaters. But
yeah, sorry.
I hope you saw it.
I'm slow on editing. I'm busy as fuck. Y'all can deal with it. especially you.
HH.
Pirate this film.
I'm just kidding.
HH.
Sorry, I'm
Wait,
trying.
You can't say his name.
Bleep.
Remember,
I'm sorry,
he
Bleep.
asked us to never say his name,
Oh.
so we gotta cut that stuff out.
Okay, I'll just hold on one second. Everyone quiet.
HH.
Okay, I'll just insert that sound bite.
H.H. Holmes.
Okay, so final thoughts, person A?
I really hope y'all saw this movie. It deserved to be seen. If not, you go pick it up when it hits the streams and the red boxes, and if you still buy DVDs like this nerd in front of me, do that.
Shots fired.
I buy Blu-rays. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh, you bought a VHS a couple weeks ago.
I buy all.
He
the
buys
formats.
all formats except Betamax.
Or Laserdisc.
Yeah.
He'll buy those for other people, though.
Yes.
Okay, my final thoughts. Yeah, I already basically said it, but yeah, go see this movie. It's a good one. Don't laugh when the women are losing, though.
Yeah. Don't be a sexist, misogynistic
He's the
prick
one
that
person-
sympathizes with the fucking sociopathic narcissist.
He
who's
was well. I can
torturing
understand when
her.
people are laughing at like goofy. I like.
Or laughter
If
because
this
they're
movie was like
uncomfortable.
poorly acted or something, yeah, I'd probably be laughing too. But this was fucking phenomenal, dude. Show some goddamn respect.
Yeah, this isn't fucking Countdown, guys.
Some people do laugh when they're uncomfortable, though.
He was not uncomfortable.
He was not
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
He was totally empathizing with this woman. Fucking just be like he was
No,
just
he
like,
wasn't
man.
empathizing with the woman.
Well,
he was empathizing with the fucking invisible man.
that's what I was going for. It's like he felt the power that this man felt controlling this woman, and it just made him.
He's like, I'm gonna go. After this movie, I'm gonna go do that to my date, and I wish I could be invisible while I did it.
All right, trailers.
Okay.
Run, Sweetheart, Run. This was the Blumhouse movie.
This looks like it's gonna be like they're gonna try and say the same thing that they said in Black Christmas, which is non sequiturs about female empowerment that fall flat because there's no women behind.
Date online on your phone.
I got that. It seemed better than Black Christmas. Like Black
Yeah.
Christmas was just like notes that were translated into the screenplay.
Yeah, this at least looks like an original thing, not based on something else. But I have a feeling it's just gonna be like empty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just what's the word I'm looking for? Vapid.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna try to say something but not really say anything in the end, or like
I got those
poorly say
vibes, unfortunately,
something.
too.
Like
Yeah.
this says that like the Invisible Man says has a whole lot more about, women's strength and stuff in it than Black
Yeah,
Christmas.
I think this one's gonna be just like fuck men, and online dating is going to lead to you being murdered. So
Yeah, no, I'm
you know,
sorry.
it is what it is.
If I want to
It is what it
see,
is. It is what it is. It is what it is.
It's what it is.
It is. I'll apologize when you admit that you were late.
yeah,
Fucking
Sorry.
love that movie. All right. Next.
Oh, so were you done, person A? Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Run, Sweetheart, Run. We'll probably review it and make fun of it. But it might be good. We keep an open mind. It might be awesome.
Yeah, I just I always
think
look down
promising
at
young
Blumhouse.
women-
but
Check our old videos.
oh,
I
okay.
was like, oh, Invisible Man, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
we were not down with it, and we love it.
Yeah, no, promising. I think
That
promising
I
young
don't
woman
know.
is gonna do what
No,
this
it's
woman
invisible.
or what this movie is trying to
right,
do
right.
better.
Invisible thumbnail.
All right, I'm gonna save this one for last. But what The Hunt? This looks interesting.
I want to see this one so bad.
It's some movie that last year, I can't remember, during the summertime, like Fox News or something ran a bunch of things about how horrible it was, and they were talking about it as if the movie was people had seen it, and
It hadn't even been released
they
yet.
basically, surprise surprise, didn't check their facts, and yeah, it caused a whole controversy. That's why it said the most controversial movie no one's seen yet or something.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It's got
and
Dennis
so
in it.
It's finally being released, and it looks interesting. It's one of those things where I don't really know what it's fully about, but it's like the most dangerous game, but maybe not. I don't know. But
So,
I want to see
I'm gonna
it.
see it.
one of the guys from The Whitest Kids You Know was part of a show. I can't remember what station did it, but it was kind of similar to this, of like a comedy-based most dangerous game type thing. And I can't remember which one of the guys from Whitest Kids was in it. It was yeah, I don't. It wasn't. It's not Trevor, and it's not Sam. It's Zach. That was.
Oh, Zach.
Yeah, so he was in it, and it's kind of like they go on a cruise and end up in like a most dangerous game situation. And it's a comedy or something. And yeah, so this seems kind of like that, but in movie format. So yeah, you know, I'll check it out. It's coming out pretty soon, next month sometime.
Yeah.
It looks
This month, yeah.
Yeah, and it looks very like politically on the nose, obviously.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think it's one of those movies.
There are pigs
It
involved.
wears it proud on its sleeve. It's like, this is what it is. If you come see it, don't, you know, that's what it's gonna be.
They're touting
But-
the whole the controversy.
Kind
from
of
last year.
skidding into it.
And
yeah.
and I hope they do it well, because I hate movies that do that and suck.
yeah, a bunch of hype built up around them, but yeah. Anyways, next,
All right.
next trailer.
Fuck, I'm stoked for Candyman.
All right,
Yeah.
Candyman.
Woof. Candyman.
So I saw like half of this trailer a while back, and I was like, and then like, so this is the first time I saw the second half, where it seems like he's gonna like he tries to do some sort of expose art thing on the Candyman, and ends up basically manifesting him.
It
into
looks like
his
he's
body.
becoming
like
it.
he becomes the Candyman.
This is
Yeah.
some Nightmare on Elm Street 2 motherfucking shit.
Ooh, good point.
Good reference.
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's a sequel to the original. The one woman who was like, don't say that. She's in the first film.
Okay.
And yeah,
And yeah, this is straight up sequel.
yeah,
Like,
it's a straight up sequel.
It's skipping 2 and 3.
It's following the trend that you know, Texas Chainsaw did, and Halloween 2018 did, and a few others have done, where it's like, no, this is the real sequel. And normally I hate that, but this is one case where I'm so down. Candyman Farewell to the Flesh is meh, and 3 fucking sucks ass. So
And it's made by Jordan Peele's
Yeah,
new company.
Jordan Peele too, and like
It's not directed by Jordan Peele, but it's his production
his
company
production
that's
company.
doing it.
yeah, Mia DaCosta.
Yeah,
DaCosta,
Nia
I think.
DaCosta.
I think that's what it was.
Neo DaCosta or
But,
something. DaCosta. Yeah, well, it's there. You can look it up.
But yeah, I am very, very, very excited for this. The only thing I don't like is that they're following that trend. It's just called Candyman, so the sequel to Candyman is
It's
Candyman.
Candyman.
The Shaft, and then Shaft, and then Shaft. You got Halloween, then Halloween. It's like
Candyman and then Candyman.
it really should have been Candyman something. I don't know.
Candyman. Candyman.
Candy-
Candy.
Candyman Returns. There you go. Bam.
Or Candyman. I'm going with Candyman.
Candyman begins.
No, it's because if it's
Candyman.
Candyman Returns, then people will be like, oh, I have to watch another one? Okay, never mind.
No,
Like, studios are afraid of
Candyman.
that. When in reality, people love doing that. Like, I see it on Twitter all the time. I've seen, just for The Invisible Man, people post like, hey, The Invisible Man's coming out. I decided to watch 45 Universal Monster movies. Like, people love it. So call it Candyman Returns. People are already watching the originals. I don't know. We're going to have to watch it. You're going to have to see it. I'm assuming you haven't seen it. Have you seen the original?
No, not at all.
Oh, yeah. It's
The cinematography in this one looks
The
excellent.
original
Yeah, it
is one of the many films I saw as a child that made me afraid of bees.
Yeah, after the trailer was done, I leaned over and I was just like, Art Out Horror's making a comeback. I was just like, yeah.
It looks fantastic. The first one is top 10 90s film, 90s horror for sure. Possibly top 5 90s horror, honestly. 90s was a difficult time.
Yes.
We got,
Thank
wasn't
God
Final
for meta
Destination in the
horror.
90s?
2000s.
Yep. Man. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Person S, we kind of hogged that one. What do you think of Candyman?
I'm excited to see it. I already said my bit.
Person A loves candy, so.
And I already said it should be called Candyman.
Candyman. There was one part I've heard Tony Todd's gonna make a cameo. Who is the actor who played him originally? There was one moment where it looked like the actor had the Candyman coat and some bees on, and he walked past the car, and I swear to God, I saw Tony Todd's reflection in the mirror, but it was the actor's, like you could see his face. And yeah, it looks like it's some type of body possession thing.
Like I said, Nightmare on
Yeah.
Elm Street 2.
That makes me more excited. I can't wait to see that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yay, good horror movies! Woo!
Yeah.
Wait, what other trailers?
Hell yeah! I had a great time. I wish Mampton could have come with us.
I know. We'll see it with him. But
Do we have any other trailers? Were there any other?
Free Guy, we talked
Yeah,
about it.
definitely.
Oh, I have one word for you. Tenet. My God, I'm so excited for this movie. Every time
Yeah.
I see the trailer, I just get more and more pumped. Christopher Nolan's about to break ground with reverse photography. Like it's gonna be nuts. Like
Oscars, yo.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm getting like, I don't know, kind of like, I don't know if this is going to be like blasphemy to bring up, but kind of like, I don't know, the like kind of Matrix vibes and whatnot from it.
Oh, yeah.
Like the kind of mind bending. You need to wrap your mind around the reality that this movie's going to present.
and that's what Inception did. I
yeah.
don't know. I mean,
that's kind of Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan's got a tinge of style over substance. It's like his scripts are not always the best, but just like
he's very exposition heavy in
he
his dialogue.
fucking delivers the visuals though, and
Yeah.
That's
and
why he exposition dumps. with
This
his
looks
dialogue.
intriguing and fucking, I don't know, crazy weird, and yeah, man.
We got one word for you. Tenet.